Hello, hello, hello. What's up, everybody? What is up, Cyber? How are you?
What's
How are
up?
you
We're getting there, man. We're getting there.
feeling? Yeah.
I got another 3 weeks without being able to walk, but whatever.
Ooh, that's rough. So we are here, and no, your eyes are not deceiving you. Omega is not here yet, but hopefully he'll be soon.
He's coming. I called him at 5:08, and I'm like, "Hey, where you at?" And he's like, "What year is it?"
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing,
I
man?
actually think he fell asleep, but we'll cover that when he gets here. So hopefully he shows up soon. He didn't even realize. He's like, it doesn't start till 5, and we're like, it's already after 5.
Yeah, I'm like, it's 5:08. He's like, "No, it's not." I'm like, "Okay, man. All right, well, we're starting."
So let's see. As soon as he gets here, we'll add him into the conversation.
Oh man.
But there he is. Look, he goes, my damn Alexa didn't wake me up. So there you have
He's
it.
blaming the robot.
I mean, look, he's not even in the chat, and he's not even in the stream, and he's in the chat. So yeah. For a sec, I thought Cyber went John Wick on Omega.
I mean,
well, there you go. It could happen. Not right now, though. He's too injured. His healing factor hasn't kicked in yet. So
it's a little slow.
We have a few topics to talk about, and I guess the first one, because everybody's talking about it in the chat, is the Suicide Squad trailer that came out this past week. I'm not going to show the trailer. If you want to go see it, it's literally everywhere. Copyright reasons or whatever. But we can talk about it, and oh, look, he showed up. Half asleep.
Okay, did I just get isekai or something?
Oh, my God.
Oh, shit.
Oh, there we go. So he's awake. The year is 2021. It is 5:13 in the afternoon on a Sunday. So
let me turn this off. I forgot I had it on.
Oh no. Oh no.
What were you doing beforehand where you needed that on? I don't even want to know.
I was just playing with it, just changing around some settings. But yeah, I'm here. Sorry.
Right. Okay, so we're going to talk about the trailer and just give our thoughts on it. I'm not going to show it here, but we'll basically talk about some of the stuff that was in it. Did you see the trailer for Suicide Squad?
Yes, I saw it.
All right. So what do you before we dive into like specifics of the trailer, we're not going to dive too deep into it, but obviously they're going in a different direction than the first movie. Yeah. This is definitely like heavy comedy, and it's supposed to be like action but silly. And Cyber, you said it reminds you of Guardians of the Galaxy.
I mean,
obviously.
It does. But that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. I think it's going to be more, obviously we saw like what King Shark eating someone in the trailer. So
ripping people apart.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be more graphic, but the tone definitely feels that way, in my opinion. From the trailer.
A little weird that I think they're giving, and to not totally compare it to Marvel, but they're giving King Shark this like Groot thing where he's very deadly and he can do all this stuff, but he's like supposed to be cute and charming looking, because he's definitely got like almost a chibi quality to him. That
I don't know if he's supposed to be cute and charming, more just just dumb and just kind of that whole innocent dumb thing. I use term innocent in quotes because I was
dumb. Go ahead.
Well, it's a giant shark, but because I was even reading something on Twitter where somebody was saying you better not kill King Shark, and James Gunn was like, he's chewing on someone's head.
Right.
He's not supposed to be cute and cuddly. He's a giant monster shark.
I find that a little bit, like, I'm not saying he's lying, but I find it hard to believe because the one on the Flash definitely looks like a real shark that's been turned into like a humanoid, whereas this one definitely is sporting this little dad bod look. It's very much like
looks like Patrick.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously a deadly character, but I think there is a almost internet cuteness to him that I think is hard to deny. Mm-hmm. So everybody seems to be loving that, and crazy cat lady gamer review with a $5 super chat and a Team Eric member. I love Suicide Squad trailer. I just got the COVID-19 shots and my arm hurts. Well, hopefully your arm feels better, and I am still waiting to get mine. Apparently I can sign up through CVS and some other places. I'm going to try and do multiple places because where I work at in the industry I work in, it kind of is going to be a thing where I'm going to have it. Like, I don't have a choice, and it's getting to the point where several people that I work with have already had their second shot, and I'm still waiting to get my first shot.
I'm shocked that my job was not considered frontline for getting it, but apparently we are going to be getting it, but I'm currently out of work. So I don't know how that's going to work when it comes around, if I can go up there and still obtain it or not.
Where you say you need to watch out for the 5G towers because you know that shot's going to change your DNA. No, I listen way too much Alex Jones. Shut up.
Yeah,
I don't understand.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
So, but getting back to the Suicide Squad trailer, I obviously this is again a different direction for them. It feels like they're trying to pull away from that whole Snyder era of films. Anything that came out around that period.
Yeah, so I still like that first Suicide Squad movie, even though it was a horrible movie.
Yep, I like it for what it was. I don't. Yeah. The story is awful, but I thought the movie
wasn't
was
expecting
watchable. Yeah, I thought it was watchable.
Yeah. So there's also a big movement to restore the Snyderverse. I don't want to get into that on here, but I will say there's a lot of people that want to see that continue, but it's pretty clear the studio doesn't want it to do that. They want to go in a different direction. And regardless of how positively received the Snyder Cut was, they're dumping a bunch of news and information about other projects right after the black and white release of the Snyder Cut, which means that they clearly are just ready to do I think they waited to release a lot of this stuff, especially this trailer,
to drown out the Snyderverse.
Because they wanted to get it out there, they wanted to have it done, and they wanted to move on with it. Now, whether or not you agree with that, it just depends on what you prefer. But it's clear here that they want the bright colors, they want the action, they want the humor, they want everything that comes along with that. And honestly, the Suicide Squad is kind of the perfect place to do that if you're going to make it that way, in the DC film universe. And we'll have to see how it goes. In the chat, what did you guys think of this trailer? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Would you prefer for them to continue on with that darker, grittier Snyderverse version of Suicide Squad? Or do you really, really like this trailer? Because I think the trailer...
I just know some people are going to be, the DC edgelords are going to be like, why'd you try to copy Marvel? It's supposed to be dark. Shut up. Just shut up.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. I liked the original. I think this one's still going to be pretty good. I like the cast. I like the people that were put in the film. So I'm okay with it. I'm looking forward to it. I'll see it when it comes out.
So being a producer on something doesn't mean you have a lot of creative control over it. It simply means that you're part of the you make profits off of it. And you have to be like there's different roles producers have, like there's creative producers, there's executive producers, it's like just a production credit is probably the easiest thing to get on a project because you can simply loan them a chair and they'll make you a producer or whatever. I'm not saying that this is not like me talking trash about Zack Snyder. I'm just saying that a production credit doesn't necessarily mean creative control. So
yeah, I got nothing. But yeah, it looks good. I'm looking forward to it. I will obviously be hyped the more trailers I see about it. I'm not happy about John Cena, but it's whatever.
Hey, John Cena.
He's playing Peacemaker.
He's in the movie.
He's gonna have a series on HBO Max.
Yeah, I remember some people saying like he was in it. I didn't catch him in the trailer, so I was like,
he was wearing a mask.
We may actually.
You didn't see him. I get it. He didn't see him.
No, I honestly didn't even realize he was in a trailer.
I'll say we might actually review Peacemaker on this series if you guys want to watch it on HBO Max. We might include it every single week. We'll have to see.
Okay, he's the dictator. Gotcha. I didn't catch him.
All right,
I didn't see him.
Let's talk about Black Widow. That's the next big thing we want to discuss. And it looks like, and we've talked about this quite often, and I think we have been told we were wrong and that this would never happen and that the theaters want to make too much money off of it and this, that, and the other. And I was very adamant that after HBO Max did Wonder Woman, that it was only a matter of time before Black Widow came out on VOD, partly because of the fact that everything keeps getting shifted. And even in this article, it still shifted some stuff. And we'll talk about that in a second here. But let's read this first part here, and then we'll have the discussion. As moviegoing slowly begins to rebound in the U.S., which, by the way, people need to know theaters are reopening all over the place because vaccination rates are going up. It appears Hollywood studios aren't ready to release their biggest blockbuster hopefuls on the big screen. Notably, Black Widow and Cruella, which I didn't realize Cruella was going to be a theater release. I actually thought it was a Disney Plus thing.
I thought it was just straight Disney Plus too.
Yeah, but since Black Widow and Cruella will now premiere on Disney Plus at the same time they open in theaters, Cruella is arriving as scheduled on May 28th, while Black Widow has been pushed back 2 months and will debut on July 9th instead of May 7th. Both titles will be offered on premium access, which comes at a $30 rental fee. So let's talk about that before the next portion here. So the one thing I like about HBO Max, and I have to give them credit for, is including new releases within your subscription price. I think that's great. Is it profitable for the studios? I don't know. But I think as a consumer, it's a better deal, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
The $30 premium thing, like a great example is Raya and the Last Dragon, which was a movie that came out a few weeks ago on Disney Plus. We actually had a couple of people over, part of our bubble that we've been doing stuff with, and we rented that. And for 4 people at $30, it's not a bad deal. If you're gonna rent something and divide it up 4 ways, I don't think it's a huge problem. However, not every household is going to be the same. You're not going to have households where everybody has multiple people. If you have 2 people and you split that up by 2 people, that's $15. That's technically, to me, the cost of a ticket to a movie. So I don't feel bad about that.
And you should have you'll have your own snacks at home, so that'll make up the difference from that. So
for one person, it is extremely pricey. Extremely. If you are a single person, if you live by yourself, or if you have roommates that don't want to see this, $30 is such a high ticket price that you're almost better off biting the bullet and going to the theaters to watch it, because you're going to pay like, $14 for a ticket or something like that. So I don't know how I feel about this, but I did say that they were going to release it at home as well as in theaters, and people kept telling me I was wrong. Here we are. I like being right about stuff. Like, this is the kind of thing that I like. Just overall, what do you guys think? I've been talking. Go ahead. Tell me what you think about this.
Yeah, no, we talked about this, and we said that once investors and everything starts getting involved, that they were going to release it. But we also said we wanted them to release it. It's the right thing to do. The movie's been in limbo for way too long. I plan on seeing it in the theater, but I will probably, if it's good, also get it at home. Simply because if I go to the theater, it's going to be with my little group of friends. Probably
chances are all of us will probably be.
It'll probably be us all going. But in terms of the family, they're probably not going to want to go out. So if it's a good movie, I will come home and we'll all get it and watch it again. I just think that it's the right thing to do, and I don't like being. I don't like to wave the flag of aha, we were right, but a lot of times we are.
Yeah.
I'm even
Omega as a single person.
Yeah, I'm questioning even watching it now, because $30. I'm only going to watch it once, because I'm already subscribed to Disney Plus. I don't think I'm even going to watch it anymore, because I don't want to pay $30 for some movie I'm only going to watch once. And I mean, I don't have a car. I mean, the nearest theater is not that far from me, but I'm not going to. It probably would be cheaper for me to get an Uber over to the theater and back.
Yeah,
probably.
So also think about this for a second. Disney is already hiking up their streaming price. They're going from $6.99 to $7.99 a year or a month or whatever. So if it was $6.99 a year, I'd be like,
that'd be great.
But $7.99 a month or whatever. They already are, in my opinion, slightly lacking in content. Yes, the Marvel shows have raised the bar a little bit. Obviously the Star Wars stuff has raised the bar a little bit. But if you look at their library compared to the library of other properties like Hulu and Netflix, they don't have an influx of stuff. So these big ticket movies, I think, can you imagine how much their subscriber base would go up if they offered Black Widow at subscription price? I mean, it would blow up for them. But apparently they ran the numbers and they think they can make more money off of it doing it at a $30 ticket price. So
I was even thinking that what if, because I think I heard this on another podcast where they basically say, like, what if they just raise the price up to $15 a month, like most of the other ones are, but you could only see it if you have, like, say 5 months, like 5 months on your belt already, or like do something like that. Maybe that's a bit too complicated or just a bit too much for them, but I don't know.
Why don't they do something like some of these other services, like Hulu has this, and I think CBS All Access or Paramount Plus has this, where you pay a base price to watch something with ads, and you pay an additional $2 or $3 to get it without ads. Why not make it so the additional people, like the people that are paying for it without ads, just add a tier. Just add another tier. Say for like $3 extra a month, you get access to these premium movies. That would make more sense to me than paying $30 for a movie that is going to be free on Disney Plus within 60 days. But again, they've ran the numbers and they think that this works.
Yeah, they probably had a bunch of like executive meetings and stuff with marketing or whatever. It said oh, this would be just confuse people, but even though it's whatever, just whatever.
And here's the next casualty of all this: is Black Widow's move means Marvel's Shang-Chi and the Legend of 10 Rings, which was previously set for early July, was bumped back to September 3rd, and that one is just going to have a theatrical release. And I do believe, and I'm saying this now, that by September there will be no reason to do at-home releases unless they absolutely want to, because I think if you want to get vaccinated, you will be able to get vaccinated by September. So I don't see any reason why they would not do that. So I'm excited for Black Widow. I think Kevin Feige, or I think he did an interview. He said this has been 2 years since we've had a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
2 years. And that's kind of crazy if you think about it. Like, I kind of forgot because the Disney Plus shows have been so good that I didn't even think about not having a Marvel movie. After WandaVision and now Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I feel like we've reached a point where TV is starting to feel like movies. And I think that's an important place for us to be. And so, yeah. All right, let's move on and talk about the next topic. We won't spend a lot of time on this one, but I thought it was kind of fun. And we'll add this one in. Spider-Man 3, Spider-Man No Way Home. Now, this was a deleted tweet, but it says fans have potentially received a new clue supporting Garfield's involvement. The cast and crew of Spider-Man No Way Home received several goodies to celebrate the end of filming, and some pics were shared online by actor Jordan Foster. Eagle-eyed fans were quick to note that one gift has a picture of Garfield's Spider-Man suit. Foster has since deleted the tweet, though the images can still be seen through No Way Home, so they've taken screenshots or whatever of this. I think the reason why this is a little bit more credible is because he deleted it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's the only thing for me that makes this more credible, because if I could feel like this is, again, Marvel doing what Marvel does with the hyping up of movies and TV shows and stuff. The fact that he deleted it makes me wonder if that was an issue. What are your thoughts on this? Does this confirm we're getting Andrew Garfield, or do you think this is just more misdirection or anything like that?
At this point, it could be anything. I want to say it's misdirection, but I think it's legit, because you know how some of these celebrities are. They'll say something that they probably shouldn't have, deleted, and and the stress that effect takes in, and everyone pays attention to it.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I would be happy if he's in the film, but I will also be happy if he's not. I at this point, every time a theory comes out, it makes me hype for something, and then when I see it, it disappoints me if it's not in it. So if that is cool, if he's there, I'm all for it. But if he's not, I mean, when you see this stuff and it's like, is he? You know, let's hold on to it. I hope he is, and this does give it some credibility, and I can't wait to actually see it. Like, that's what I want to see. I want to see it before I get too hype.
Well, it's supposed to come out this year. So let's see. There was a comment here, but from Ethan, it says a little bit sus that they pushed Shang-Chi back, but not the Eternals. Well, the thing is, I think the Eternals doesn't tie directly into the timeline. I think it will have. Whose alarm is that?
Mine.
That would be his alarm to wake up for the Weekly Geekly.
Sorry about that.
Okay. So I think the reason why is the Eternals, although it is gonna tie into like the modern stuff that we're seeing, I don't think the core of the movie does that. So I think that's why. Also, it could be because the release date is still a good date for them. Maybe they feel like it's in a spot where it doesn't have to move. So
I'm still scared we have seen nothing from either of these films.
Yeah. Cody says there's Raimi font too from
Spider-Man. Yeah. I mean, the guys, like, I want it to be, so we can get excited. I just don't want to be disappointed if they're not. So because I like the Tom Holland Spider-Man. I don't need them in it. It's just a bonus if they are.
So Introverted Unicorn says there's 2 Spider-Man movies this year, No Way Home and Spider-Verse 2 in December. I'm excited. So that's going to be a big Spider-Man December, and if they're smart, they will market it as being such. I think marketing it as a Spider-Cember would be really
that'd
cool.
Be cool. Yeah. I love Spider-Verse.
Newt says they also don't want to delay any more projects. They don't even want to delay the ones that they've delayed already. I mean, I feel like there's, so all right. So here's another big one, and this is the last separate topic before we get into our main topic, and that is Comic-Con is actually coming back in person at the end of this year. Now, we are huge, Dragon Con attendees. I love conventions. And I would say for me, 2021 is going to be a pass. I'm not going to do, even if I was, completely vaccinated by time this came around, I think I want another I think I need another year away from these. This is too big. So
this is the first one I've been to, the first major con I've been to. Absolutely enjoyed it, but we didn't get this one. This was 2020s, and we didn't get it. So
so it says on Saturday, San Diego Comic-Con announced dates for its first in-person convention since 2019. This year, a 3-day special edition of the event. Now, I guess they mean special edition because I can guarantee you anything important will also be online. So just if you're not able to go, you'll be able to watch it online. And I assume that even when it does come back in person, there's still going to be some like leftover residual online access. It'll kick off on November 26th. The hope is that by Thanksgiving weekend, COVID conditions will allow for large-scale public gatherings. And I don't think they're wrong. I think we may see a shift by the time the fall comes around. It's really going to come down to how comfortable people feel doing it. And I think it's still a little bit too soon for me to put my foot down on it.
Here's the problem with it. And ultimately, there are people like us who are skeptical, right? But when you look at all these events that open up to massive crowds, people still show up, right? So when they have something like this, if it's not a capped event, which usually Comic Cons are capped, usually you have to buy tickets. And
like E3 was capped,
event,
like
right.
There's a capped amount of people.
So it's not like Dragon Con where 85,000 people show up, 85,000 people show up. Usually this is pretty much, it's already restricted. If they restrict it down more and do try to like socially distance, I think it's probably going to be okay. But in my experience, seeing things, if they open the doors to it, people are going to show up and they're not going to care. They're going to assume that since it's opened up, everything's good to go.
See, I was going to say, I actually think by time this weekend rolls around, socially distancing won't be as important as it is now. Because
it might not be, but for me, I'm not doing it. I can't do it. I think I'm skipping Dragon Con this year.
I think masking will still be a thing. I don't know if social distancing will be a thing by the time Thanksgiving weekend rolls around. Now, but it's also a holiday weekend. Like, are people really going to give up their first time back at a big holiday to go to Comic-Con?
It's weird, man. People have been cooped up for a while now.
I'm not saying they don't. It's a roll of the dice, though, for sure.
If Dragon Con this year introduces like some people from Supernatural going or something like that, I'll probably still go. But Comic-Con, no. I don't think there's much that they can introduce before you go, because usually a lot of the stuff there is introduced while you're there. So I don't know if they could say anything that would make me want to go, unless it's like, if like Paigey and everybody's like, oh, let's all get up and go hang out, then it might be different.
Yeah. But what about you, Omega?
Yeah. Man. If Dragon Con's still on, I might just go without you guys, or I don't know. Depends on how things are.
They've been announcing stuff, so it's happening.
It's an experience. Dragon Con's hard to not go to. It's a really, really big deal.
It'll be the first year that I missed that they have had it, because last year obviously we missed it because they canceled it. But it'll be the first year in a while that I have not gone. I mean,
if I don't get to go this year, I'll probably just go to Vegas again. I don't know.
Well, just go to Comic-Con.
It's all the way in San Diego.
You just said Vegas, man.
Yeah, never mind.
I mean, Vegas is you can drive to California and get there. And
I just realized that. Never mind.
That's like a drive. That's less than a drive to DC for us. So it's not.
I even remember my first time I went to Vegas. I was like, oh yeah, we had to go over Vegas to go to LA. Then we had to go from LA to Vegas.
That's why a lot of people that work in Los Angeles live in Las Vegas, because it's easy to move. Like a lot of content creators here on YouTube also live in Vegas but work in LA because it's just easy to do.
It's it's like an hour long.
Yeah. So, but getting back to this, I do believe that there are going to be I'm going to say this: if you were someone who has never had the opportunity to go, then you have a good shot at having a very leisure introduction into Comic-Con.
Mm-hmm. That is true.
But I will also say that I think, and this has been in years past, that it's hard to get to everything at Comic-Con. You actually get more information by not going, because
it's just the experience of going.
Yeah. It's like Dragon Con. We go to Dragon Con and there are announcements at Dragon Con, but we go for reasons other than just the announcements. We go for the vendors, we go for the atmosphere, we go for the games, playing board games, playing, video games. The vendor area is worth it for Dragon Con.
Oh yeah, that's why I got my lightsaber.
So yeah, it definitely is. So
I'm glad it's coming back. I don't know if it's too soon. For me, it's too soon.
Yeah.
I wish them success.
And this is, I play a D&D, so I'd be all about that. We were driving to Florida instead of flying, even though the rest of my family is flying. They have all been vaccinated. So here's the thing. I don't like dealing with the hassle of planes to begin with. And with everything that's going on, I'd probably drive myself.
I will tell you this, Amethyst. I don't know if you go to Dragon Con, but I can tell you now, if you like to play D&D,
there's tons of tables.
I kind
of wish we would have.
Yeah, the entire week they have sessions of one shots of people that it's just if you like Dungeons and Dragons, we won't get into it here because that's not what we talk about here, but it is absolutely an insane experience. So if you do go there, then you know, but if you don't, you should.
All right, so I'm going to put up the spoiler banner already. There we go. We're going to be talking about episode 2 of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Star Spangled Man was the name of the episode, and this was our official introduction to the John Walker, Captain America, U.S. agent character, and basically our big introduction to the Flag Smashers. We got a lot of information about those characters and what they're all about and what's actually happening with them. Actually, looking back, this episode covered a lot within its runtime. There's a lot of stuff that happened.
This was what I was looking for. Like I said last week when I gave it, what was it, a 5? I said it was average episode. It was just getting started. This had so much happening in the time that was given. The entire episode was from start to finish was worth watching, in my opinion. It was great.
Yeah. So what about you, Omega? Was this a good follow-up for that premiere episode for you?
Oh, yeah. Things started to get real fast.
Yeah. So we finally get Bucky and Sam together, and they have great chemistry. I mean, they did in the movies already from what we saw. But
I love their banter.
Yeah, they're really solid together. And I thought about
very
this.
lethal weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Is it confirmed now that Bucky has actually been in the MCU longer than Captain America?
Probably.
Because he was introduced in the first Captain America movie, and Cap's gone, and Winter Soldier's still here. So does that make it like he's spent more time now? He hasn't been in as many movies, but he's actually existed longer, I think. Well, if you don't count Captain America's time travel, because he gained like 80 years on him or something like that.
I don't know. That's tough. But, that's tough. But I mean, maybe. I mean, he definitely looks like he's been around long. Well, he was blipped though, so that's 5 years.
Yeah. He's got a little bit longer to go then. A little bit longer to go, maybe. So, but yeah, I love the banter between them and how, immediately they deal with like this big situation with, Sam giving up the shield that Steve gave to him, and how Bucky feels like that's a,
why?
It's
he
insulting
gave it to you for a reason. Yeah.
Yeah. It's insulting to Steve. And, Sam's like, you're not going to show up and just tell me what to do and what I'm supposed to do and this, that, and the other. And I think both of them have valid arguments. Bucky feels like, I actually feel like Bucky wanted the shield, but Steve gave it to Sam. So Bucky feels like Sam let the shield down, basically.
Yeah.
By giving
he
it back to
probably
the
wanted the shield, but was like, well, he gave it to him. All right, fine, cool. Wait, you did what?
Yeah. So, but you know what? Sam could have never known this was what was going to happen. He couldn't have predicted this.
Yeah,
I don't think.
He had no idea. He had no idea.
So, you have this government that's doing obviously shady things, surprise, surprise, behind everybody's back, and all this is going on. And so they're this unexpected pair, this team up of these two characters who do not want to work together, but sort of have to work together, and they're kind of thrown in this situation. And we see them, they go on this mission together because they know, and we'll talk about John Walker in a second. I want to focus on this because I know several people are already asking about it, but they go on this mission together, and we think that there is that these enhanced people exist. This is what Sam believes, and he's telling Bucky about it. And then they confirm that these people, that it's more than one person. There's like a group of people with super soldier powers, and they're enhanced. We don't know to what level. Are they stronger than Captain America? Are they the same level as Captain America? We're not totally sure. We're to assume that they are super strong, super fast, super durable. And once they figure this out, the banter in the warehouse was great, by the way.
Oh yeah,
it was. It really was.
Lucky.
Yeah, it really was. I'm trying to remember some of the stuff.
And I don't want to forget about this. Like,
I kind of watch it
this.
Again.
When Bucky jumped out of the plane, and I was like, what is he going to do? And then he's trying to grab onto the trees, and he just sits the ground. It's
it
like,
won't work.
And I'm like, because we were sitting here and we were watching it and was like, is he dead? I'm like, no, he's a super soldier. He's not dead. He fell from, if you remember,
he's
Winter Soldier,
embarrassed, but
he fell from one of the helicarriers. So like, he's not dead. But yeah, it was more pride thing. And the Red Wing was hilarious, and we got to see the AI for Red Wing kind of doing its thing. By the way, R.I.P. Red Wing. I don't know if we're gonna get Red Wing back, but
smash.
Yeah. The flag smashers were the drone smashers in this next episode.
Do you know how long I wanted to do that?
Yeah.
So we get to see them. They're in the warehouse and they're doing all that reconnaissance and stuff. And Bucky just wants to go in and fight. He's like, let's just go in and do this.
Yeah, because he's like, look, this is what we do. Let's not let these guys get away with it. And so I enjoyed that part. I did.
So, but of course, you see that Sam is using tech, and he's like, "Look, there's like 5 guys, 6 guys, whatever," and they think there's a hostage on this trailer. Now, did you guys? I thought for a second, I'm like, this either it's not a real person or it's luring them in for a trap. I immediately thought that. I don't know how they could do that. I'm like, maybe they're going to capture them. Maybe the door locks behind them or something like that. What did you guys think about this setup? Did you think this was going to be? Did you think it was a hostage? Because I thought it could even be Sharon Carter. I was like, I know she's supposed to be in the series, so I wasn't sure who it was going to be.
Yeah, I don't think it was a setup at all. Anything. It was just a misread. She was probably just sitting in the back, just getting ready for the whole thing, just nervous.
Yeah, she was just chilling.
They was thinking, we got a hostage here. She was like, then when she saw him, she's like, oh, I'm about to whoop your ass.
I think that's why she smiled, because she smiled because she's like, I know who this is.
She's like, I'm going to kick his ass.
Right, basically.
The only thing that was weird for me, and we'll get into the cons because there are a few. It's not a lot. But when he opened up the door and jumped in the truck for that, like, I don't know, good minute he was there. Why did the driver behind not
do nothing?
Beep the horn or anything? My guess is because he's probably like, whatever. He's going to get jacked up. Well, that's the only thing I can assume of.
I was wondering if he radioed them to tell them, and we just didn't have a scene for that, because blowing the horn. That's what I would assume. Yeah. Blowing the horn would have actually told them that they were noticed. You know what I mean? Which I don't know how they wouldn't be. But I will say, seeing him run reminded me of Captain America when he was running around the trucks and literally ran faster than the trucks. I was like, oh gosh, I love, like, Bucky is like my favorite character in the MCU, and I've said this so many times. I love his story. I love being a super soldier with this vibranium arm. I just love the whole thing. But he gets caught off guard because he expects this to be like a person that's been captured, and she literally kicks him into the truck,
the windshield of the other truck.
So, and so then she jumps across and puts her mask on and everything, and we're in this battle with super soldiers. And I'm thinking, obviously Falcon is screwed here, because these guys are like, they're super soldiers. Like, what? Like, he's already.
It is, but I feel like he got in more hits than Winter Soldier.
Yeah, he did. But I think the reason why is Winter Soldier was trapped on top. Like, he couldn't fly around. He couldn't get away. And I also believe that he was off guard. And I think he is following these rules that his therapist has set up.
I think so too.
Yeah, he's holding back
as well. Because he asked her what rule number 2 was, and she said, "Don't hurt anybody." So I'm like, oh, okay, well, maybe.
Yeah, he's probably holding back.
Maybe that's what it is.
So, this is controversial, and it's probably wrong, but can someone just count those numbers out to him, or say those words to him, and just for a moment turn him
into the Winter Soldier?
Because the Winter Soldier would have kicked all of their asses.
Destroyed them.
Yeah. He would have kicked all of their asses.
That's factual information.
What was it? It was like something boxcar or something. I can't even remember.
It's
like 42 boxcar or something like that.
We're going to get to the Zemo stuff here in a minute. We'll talk about that here in a few moments. But I was like, okay, so he's caught off guard. He's not trying to hurt anybody. He doesn't want to do this, that, and the other. And so they kind of overwhelm him. And as this fight is going on, we get the cavalry arriving, and it is Captain America, John Walker, and Battlestar, which is his sidekick, his Bucky, and what is it, Lamar Hoskins, I believe is his real name. So he shows up, and they're fighting, and this is a good time to segue, because I think they show up. Let's segue and talk about John Walker a little bit before we get back to this. So at the beginning of the episode, we are introduced to him officially, and we learn a little bit about him. He's a decorated military guy. He's done so many things. On paper, it makes sense that he would be a candidate to be Captain America on paper. I think, obviously, there's some stuff about him that we don't know that is going to be a big deal later on. But as we're meeting him in the beginning, they really want us to like this character. They really want us to identify with him because he seems to be very much, in this world of Captain America. Like he looked up to Captain America. He wanted to be this Captain America figure or whatever. In a lot of ways, someone who wants to be someone isn't always the best candidate because a lot of times that means that they're not going to be great for the job. But sometimes it means the opposite. Sometimes you get this opportunity and you end up with someone that does really do a great job with it. What were your initial impressions of John Walker after that first segment? Because we learned about him. He talked a little bit on Good Morning America. And we saw, I guess, his girlfriend or his wife or whoever that was we were introduced to. And obviously his best friend, Battlestar. What were your initial thoughts of him in that beginning without anything else that we got in the episode? Were you won over by him, or do you still feel like there's something else going on with this character?
It reminded me of all the people in the original Captain America movie that were decorated and were looked to be put into the super soldier program, but they ended up taking Captain America because he jumped on the grenade, which is why Winter Soldier said, have you ever jumped on a grenade?
Yeah.
So I think that he is supposed to be everything that they were going to put into Captain America originally, and that's what they were looking for. And he's trying to be, but I think ultimately there's going to be something about him that just, it already just rubs me wrong. I feel like he's got I don't know, there's something about him that I don't like, and it has nothing to do with his decorations. It has more to do with how he was already talking to Bucky like they're friends, and he was already talking to him like he tells him what to do.
Right. Right.
So it's kind of like he's taken over that leadership role, but he's not there.
Like Bucky said, he hasn't put in the work, and honestly, no matter what he says, and he's like, but I have, and it's like, but you haven't really. Like, we know what Captain America did. So, Omega, what are your thoughts on John Walker?
Well, honestly, at first, I thought he was all right. He was like, he's trying to do his job. He's trying to, he's trying to be what Captain America was. And it's just, he's just not there. Like we said before, he just hasn't earned it yet. And in the audience eyes, or especially in Bucky and Sam's eyes, is kind of. But the one thing which we'll probably talk about later on, that's why I was kind of like, he's probably going to go down the Homelander route. Maybe.
Yeah, we'll get to that because that's towards the end. And I do want to talk about that first.
Let's as of now, because that first part, I was kind of like, he's just trying to do his job.
Yeah, I didn't see anything particularly wrong with him in the beginning, but there is a little comment made by Battlestar that we'll talk about in a little bit. But the one let's talk about the big con for me in the episode. There was really only one negative, I think, for me. There's some things you could nitpick, but the one big thing that kind of stood out to me is I find it very hard to believe that a human person, no matter what condition they're in, physically fit or whatever, can follow the trajectory of that shield, not only throw it, but follow it, catch it, and use it at the level he's using it at, without some sort of enhancements. Is that just me? I feel like okay, maybe it is possible. We're in a world with wizards, aliens, androids. I get it. But I think that one of the things that made Captain America so unique was his ability to use the shield. And we've only seen a couple, of course, Black Widow's picked it up and used it as a shield or whatever.
Yeah, it's not Mjolnir, but to be able to use, if she threw it, which I think there's a scene where she did, it didn't come back to her.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's definitely, I think it's meant to make us angry, honestly. I think it's meant to. And it was very I understand what you're saying there. I have two nitpicks, and it is because
this comment, how he's been training with it. How long? A day? I don't know.
I was gonna say maybe there's a second mock-up, but that's the only shield they have.
It is the only shield, but they could have had one that wasn't vibranium, but then that wouldn't
be accurate. You need to use that shield to understand how to use it. No, Gary, not mad at you. Thank you for the compliment. One night in the chat from Gary. Hadn't seen you in a while, Gary. Hope you're doing well. So what about you, Omega? Thoughts on the shield thing, kind of where we are with it, or
honestly, I didn't even think about it until y'all brought it up. Yeah, it's like, when did he start practicing with that thing?
Yeah, it's the
unless there was unless there was a time skip. Even still, it feels like maybe a month.
But was
time
there?
Skip.
Was there though? I mean, I don't think there was.
I think what we would have to say,
a month at the most. If he was training that long for a month, I mean, you could. I don't know. No, I don't think.
Yeah, it's not like they train you how to use shields in the military.
Yeah.
So there's a rumor that he does have some sort of enhancements, whether it be just a slight enhancement or something. I think is it possible? because we know the way Captain America was made required a lot of, like, they had to put him in a hyperbolic chamber. They had to turn on all these chemicals and do all these things to make him. I would assume in the time we're in now, you don't need all that. There's probably
it's probably just an injection, honestly.
Right. But I'm wondering if you can't do it all at once. Maybe he is like juicing on something that is giving him these powers. But he's got to take it over a period of time. So maybe he's in the early stages of like super soldier serums or whatever.
Yeah, I think someone in chat just mentioned it.
Yeah. So yeah, it's Cody here. I think he has a small amount of serum in him, and multiple doses will turn him into a U.S. agent. Absolutely.
Yep, I agree with that, Cody. I agree with that theory.
And the only reason I say that is because Marvel doesn't usually drop the ball on stuff like that. And I feel like that's because when they're fighting, let's jump back ahead now to the trailer fight. When they're fighting on the trailer, yes, he does get his ass handed to him by the super soldiers. But when Battlestar falls off the trailer, he's able to throw the shield at a perfect trajectory to save Battlestar. And I think that was where I was like, oh, like, are you serious? It was a cool scene, but still.
I think either he's got something in him, or it's meant to make you feel a little salty. Also, I think somebody mentioned in chat that you see Falcon using it in the trailer on a tree, like bouncing it. But if that's the case, it looked like in that trailer that he was practicing with it.
Right.
So if he's practicing,
we know that they eventually get the shield, but we don't know the circumstances.
Yeah. Then it obviously takes some getting used to.
Well, congratulations, Gary. I'm not going to read that out, but congratulations.
Good job. Power Broker gave I'm reading.
Yeah. So let's talk about the Flag Smashers since we're on that, because they're also like this battle on the trailer is kind of everything needs to come into that because of the Flag Smashers and everything. So we find out that Carly, who is the girl we meet in the trailer, and the one that basically, kicks Bucky out of the trailer, that she is, I don't want to say, is she the leader or is she just a leader? I think she is a leader.
Yeah.
If I have to guess.
My takeaway from this is that the idea of the Flag Smashers wanting like everybody from the blip, like they feel like everybody who was snapped away and then came back took away from them. They built a world over the 5 years without those people. And so they feel like this government, this UN type government, that's, what is it, GRN, something like that.
Something like that.
This government facilities or whatever are giving them special treatment because they came back to a world where they had been gone for 5 years. And we kind of saw a little bit of that in the first episode when Sam and his sister went to the bank to try and get credit, and they're like, what have you been doing for 5 years and everything. So it has affected the real world. And so that's kind of what they're getting at. Now, my issue is I can't co-sign to what they're saying, because the people that were snapped away were victims. They didn't ask to go away and then come back. So
they didn't ask to come back either, right?
Right. So I think the anger is misdirected. And I don't know if they're mad at the establishment or if they're mad because the people came back. That's not totally clear in this. Right. But Carly gets a message while they're there, because everybody seems to be totally, like, there's a lot of people that follow the Flag Smashers and they really want to do things for them. And we see that in this episode, like giving them a place to stay, making food for them, setting up shelters for them. She gets a text message from someone that says, you took something that's mine, and insinuates that Carly stole something. I don't think the Flag Smashers were supposed to have powers.
Right.
I think that they stole some of the serum.
Yeah, I think that's what the medicine was that they were stealing, right?
Right. And it gives them an edge because they're creating this army of super soldiers that they are going to go against the establishment. And to be completely honest, in a world where the Avengers aren't really a thing anymore, if you have an army of super soldiers, you're going to be able to take out a lot of things. I mean,
you got literally the only real person left, because Wanda's clearly not a good guy at this point. We don't know what she's doing. Is Strange.
Yeah,
that's Spider-Man.
Yeah, but he's the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Right. He's not going out of his way to stop something. So, yeah, I mean,
and we all know Wakanda doesn't typically get involved with things outside of Wakanda.
Yeah, they got their own thing going on with Atlantis. I'm saying it right now. They got their own thing going on with Atlantis.
Yeah. So it's kind of interesting to see that now we live in a world where these super soldiers, if there's enough of them, we could be seeing like something like what Hydra wanted to do, that we tackled all the way back in, like, the Captain America or the early Captain America movies, where they're trying to create their own super soldiers. And now there's an easy way to do it. It's sort of like before, again, you had to go through that process. Well, now maybe it's a shot. maybe you take a few shots and you become, a super soldier. Now, here's the question. Do you think these powers are temporary or do they have to keep re-upping? Because I was wondering why they had so much of it. Like, is that because they're trying to get it out to people to use it, or is it because they need to store it away so they can re-up it? Do you think this is a permanent thing, or do you think it's just like a
I think it's temporary. I think it's a boost.
Probably, yeah.
And the thing is, when they have the initial dose, they're probably going to be stronger than Winter Soldier or anybody else, and then eventually it'll wear off. And I think that's what they're going to bank on to try and take all of them out, or find a way to get it off of them sooner.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but the fight scene, we get to see Falcon doing some cool stuff with the wings. Like the whole time he was fighting, and like they were like kicking him off, and he was flying off the trailers and stuff. He was doing stuff that we don't normally see in the movies because he's not really the focal point of the films. So a lot of the stuff that he does is like background noise, basically. But in this show, he's the lead character, along with Winter Soldier. So these two share a lot of really cool moments. We get to see Winter Soldier where he's down under the trailer, and Sam's like, she kicked your ass, and he's like, whatever.
Shut up.
But he has his arm down on the ground. I was trying to figure out what he was doing there. It was like he was scraping it on the ground. I wasn't sure if he was trying to like grab into the concrete to stop the truck, or I don't really understand what was going on in that scene.
That whole scene for me was the nitpick I have from the show.
Okay, we'll talk about it then.
Because when he hit the trailer, obviously the arm went through the trailer, which is why he slid down. That made sense. But I get it if you have superpowers, and this is a nitpick, guys. I loved this episode, but when I saw this, he was holding onto the trailer, and they were kicking his arm. That arm doesn't have feelings. Why would it let go?
The vibranium arm. It's basically just
you don't feel in it. It's so if you're holding something, maybe I get it. Now applying pressure, if you have Captain America's shield and you hit against it, it's going to push him back. But he was holding on to it, and I'm like, why did he let go? So the only thing I can think of is if he did let go and he was trying to stop the truck, not holding himself up. But that's my only nitpick.
Thinking back to the Winter Soldier movie, even with the shield coming at him, his arm was able to like withstand the shield.
He stopped it.
Yeah.
And then threw it back. I'm like,
so a vibranium one is even harder to like do anything to. So
can you just kick it?
Yeah.
So that's literally, guys, I'm nitpicking. I know this, but that's what I found. I didn't like it. Okay.
So I enjoyed the fight scene. I understand your nitpicks though. I thought it was really
there's some nitpicks, but otherwise I enjoyed it.
Yeah. So then we have a thing where let's move ahead. Oh, by the way, we got a super chat here from Maddie. 199 pound super chat. Battlestar's death sets of John into U.S. agent. So I think that could be a thing. And I actually thought it was going to happen when he fell off the truck. I was like, oh my gosh.
I kind of agree with that. I think that's going to happen as well.
I think it's going to be a combination of this and the serum. I think it's going to be a combination of the two things.
Because again, I know people are going to say it isn't canon, and that's fine. If it's whatever. In Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they had the Centipede program, which was literally a super soldier serum. And it wore off, but it slowly was making people go mad. I think it's going to be something related to that.
It's not the real stuff, quote unquote, but it's like slowly kind of.
From what I understand, though, that they confirmed the Darkhold in WandaVision was the Darkhold from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Apparently, there was an interview where they confirmed that it was the same. Yeah.
Okay.
It just visually looked different. I mean,
well, yeah,
I don't know.
It's a magical book, so that's fine. But in general. So much of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. feels canon that it to not reference it is to me is, I don't know, a travesty.
Yeah, I actually feel like out of all the Marvel shows, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. sets up so much that they could be using, like Ghost Rider and stuff like that. Like it's just really
crazy how much stuff that it intertwines. Again, like even when they were out of the timeline, the fact that Graviton was like Thanos. Oh, I'm gonna go fight Thanos.
Yeah, but we know that's. Well, it does, but we know that Thanos exists in multiple timelines because he also.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
So,
that's true.
I mean,
that's
true.
But yeah.
Anyway, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. set up a lot of stuff. We didn't carry on with that though, so we're not going to dive too deep into that one. So, Flag Smashers, we find out at the end that the Power Broker is coming for them. And I know I'm jumping around a little bit, but I want to stay on topic of the Flag Smashers. The Power Broker is coming for them, and they arrive with like 10 trucks of people with weapons. And so they had one of the Flag Smashers went to stop them, and while Carly and the rest could get away. And the Power Broker, I think, was introduced in Jessica Jones originally? Wasn't the guy from Jessica Jones supposed to be the power broker? Honestly, I've only watched Jessica Jones seasons one time, so I don't know for sure.
I watched
I don't
it once,
remember.
and I'm going to be 100% honest. A lot of it, I was just kind of like, I'm watching it out of loyalty to Marvel. I wasn't really watching.
I was really just watching mostly just the just David Tennant's character again. I forgot. Anyway, I was just watching it mostly for his
Kilgrave
arc. Yeah, Kilgrave. I was mostly watching for the Kilgrave arc anyway.
Yeah,
after that was
which is
done.
amazing.
Yeah, after that was done.
I don't remember if they actually called the character Power Broker in Jessica Jones or by his real name. I think it was just his real name.
Yeah, I think it was his real name.
Either way, I don't think that is going to be the same person that we're dealing with in Falcon and Winter Soldier. I think it's going to be a completely separate thing. But a lot of people were saying they thought it might connect, but it doesn't feel like it's going to connect. I mean, it might. I have no idea. I think the Netflix shows are the ones that feel the most loosely connected, honestly.
Completely quickly off topic, the showrunner said that he would like to reboot Deathlock.
Yes, I did see that.
Why would he want to do that unless it's something like the Centipede Serum?
That's possible. So what we know of the Flag Smasher storyline so far? General thoughts on it, because we're going to talk about more John and.
I agree. I think that their anger is misdirected. I think that they are not going to be the bad guys. I think that in the fact that we're already 2 episodes in and we only have 4 left, I think by episode 4 or 5, they're going to not be a thing anymore. I honestly think they are a middle ground, and they are a stepping stone to get to the real villain.
Okay. What about you?
I was just parroting what he said. Yeah, it seems like they're kind of like this weird third party that's going on, and this. Well, they're the second party. The third party we haven't seen yet. I keep thinking y'all typing Death Clock.
Deathlock.
Deathlock.
Without a C. With just
who was awesome in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., by the way.
One of the best characters, yeah. Before we move on to the next topic, Gary here with Ryan Super Chat. Do you think we'll see Ryan and Sophie will kiss? So Ryan, this is from Batwoman, so completely off topic. I don't know. I don't know if they will or not. I don't think they're going to go for that kind of a relationship. I'd be really surprised if they did. So Quindlen here with the 499 Super Chat. Just want to say,
that's why I was like, ooh, maybe.
Great. Yeah. I'm curious whose side Zemo will be on in this fight and if he will help them since he hates superheroes. So I want to talk about the Zemo stuff, but we have other stuff to talk about before that. So just generally talking about Zemo because we get the reveal at the end, they are going to go talk to him. I don't think Zemo's got anybody's side in mind. I think Zemo is on Zemo's side.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll be curious to see exactly. Yeah, we'll be curious to see exactly who he ends up working for.
Nobody. He's going to be all for himself. Yeah. He's going to do what he can to get out of the position that he's in, and whether or not that favors Winter Soldier at this point, he'll do what he has to do to get where he needs to go. Oh my God, it would be so awesome if, like, towards the end he starts hitting him with the words. And he turns him? Come on, that'd be great.
Oh my!
He's like, Sam just like, shut up.
Talk about going back in time, like that. All the work he put in for like deprogramming would be completely gone. But we'll see. So let's talk a bit about the scene with Isaiah, because that was so I want to talk about that briefly. Now, Isaiah is a character from the comics who was a Captain America that was completely covered up by the government because he was a black guy. They experimented on him. And the government's like, oh, that's not good. So we're just going to let him take the fall. And then in the MCU, obviously, he gets arrested and spends time in jail for something that he did for the government, that the government's like, we're not going to take accountability for this. And he's got history with Bucky as well. So apparently, being a super soldier himself, he went after Bucky, and he's the one person that returned. And Bucky's arm was damaged, which we don't know. I don't know if they're going to do flashbacks of that. I don't think they will, unless they want to go back into the Isaiah stuff or whatever.
I'm still here.
Yeah, obviously. So this introduction, but the cool thing is also, I believe that his grandson, Ryan, if that was who it is supposed to be, is the Patriot character from the comics, which is, I think they're trying to set up, like, again, a Young Avengers thing. So he's like I don't know if they're going to do that exactly the way they did it in the comics or whatever, but I think he is the character. The chat can correct me on that, but I believe he's the character called Patriot, and I'm not too familiar with that. But his name is Ryan. He's a Patriot. He's related to Isaiah. I don't know if they're going to do that or not. It would be cool if, cool. Introverted says here he's supposed to be a setup for Young Avengers. So yeah, I do believe that's what he was what he was going for there.
But I don't know if they'll call him that. God, I hate being that, because the Patriot was in Jessica Jones.
No. That was a different one. This is a comic book version. Actually, I can show a picture of him now. I believe this is the one they're setting up. Let's see. So here he goes. Share screen. So this is what he. Wait, that's the wrong one. That's the wiki, I think. Where's the picture? Share screen. I want to show the picture, not the wiki page, because I couldn't find a good picture of him. I think this is it. Right here. This is the character they're going for.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's not the same as the one from Jessica Jones. So I think they're setting that up a little bit. And so it was cool to see that, because it seems like that both shows. So WandaVision, we had the kids, and this one we have another kid character that could be introduced. So I feel like the Patriot, yeah. So Hoodrat says that's Eli Bradley. So yeah. So this is the character they're setting up, I believe. Patriot. Again, not a character I'm super familiar with, but I like the idea of I like seeing characters that I'm not super familiar with. I think it's fun to go back and read comics and learn about these characters. So super excited about that. But let's talk about the Isaiah stuff, because that's the stuff I really want to dive into. Mm-hmm. So what are your thoughts on the fact that we had this Captain America program they were trying to create super soldiers, sort of like what's going on with the Flag Smashers? And I'm assuming that a lot of them were not successful. Either they were killed in the process, or they were driven to some weird mental state where they were not useful. Isaiah was the one that they actually felt like he was a success. So they used him in a lot of their off the grid missions and things like that. And I believe this. I totally believe the government would cover up something like this. And this man is just living in a neighborhood somewhere, completely covering up his past, and doesn't want anything to do with any of this. Like, he's like, I don't want to deal with the government. I don't want to deal with this Hydra stuff. I want to be left alone. All of this felt so organic to me that honestly it was like one of the best parts of the episode, I think. What did you guys think of this? Thoughts on this scene?
For me, I figured, just par for the course. Because even if you look at actual history, when you had us going to World War II, when we came back home, we were treated just like any other Negro in the 40s.
Right. So you think that this was handled in a way that felt like it could be real? I'm just curious, because to me it did feel like a real thing.
I want to say that when I watch superhero shows and fantasy shows and things like that, most of the time I don't like social what's going on in the real world to interact with the
and
show.
Usually I don't either,
just because then it puts me back where I'm trying to get away from. But this seems important to Sam's character in a way that is going to, in my opinion, make Sam one of the most deep characters in the MCU when this is all said and done.
Right.
See it, because when he heard about that, and the actor, I can't think of his name right now, when
Carl Lumbly, or I think it's
Sam. Is that him?
I forgot his name too.
Wait, it's Anthony Mackie. Anthony Mackie.
Yeah. I thought you were talking about the character.
No. He did amazing. He did amazing. But the aftermath, the point of it was when he was talking to Winter Soldier about the whole thing, and you could just see it in his face. Like, are you serious right now?
Yeah, it's like this could have been me.
And so I honestly think that it is important to his character to have the.
Well, it changes his opinion of the people he's working for.
Right.
He's been a military man pretty much his entire life. And now to find out that they were experimenting on black men, giving them super soldier serum, and then letting them take the fall for everything, and then brushing it under the rug. You're absolutely right. This has to change his character. Like it has to.
Yeah, he's going to look at with even more skepticism. It's like, it's kind of like, what reason y'all have to not do this to me? Just because times have changed? Not really.
Right. And it just goes to show everything. I mean, we're 2 episodes in, and you just get so much depth out of these 2 characters, which you did not get with WandaVision on purpose for that show.
Right.
But in this one, we knew since it would be a ground and varies espionage style series, that we knew we were going to get these backgrounds.
I think the mystery in this series is less about outlandish stuff. Like, I think WandaVision leaned into like anything is possible, whereas this show I don't think it leans into anything as possible. I think in this show we specifically know the road we're traveling on. We may not know the stops we're going to make, but we kind of know the road we're traveling on. Whereas WandaVision, there were no roads. It was literally just like whatever's going to happen is whatever's going to happen, which I appreciate. So
now I'm laughing at Hood over here, but it's kind of like after all that, two cops roll up on him, giving Sam a hard time when it was Bucky who had warrants.
I thought about that when the scene happened. I'm like, so they're giving the black guy a hard time, but the white guy is the one with warrants.
Even the guy's like, that's the Falcon. He's like, oh my god, yeah, that's right.
No, even the conversation that Falcon had with the kid walking up to the house.
About Black Falcon.
All that stuff
just Falcon.
All that stuff's relevant. And again, usually I
honestly want to say, coming from me, it was a little heavy-handed, but it's kind of like, yeah, whatever.
I think they were doing that to push the narrative.
Yeah, it's to push that narrative.
Yeah. For that, in that scene, I think it was different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do understand it was a kind of a little heavy-handed, but it was leading on to something else.
Right.
So,
But I actually think, like Cyber was saying, I do believe that the introduction into this with the Isaiah character and the black super soldiers, I actually think that's going to be a very big, important plot point for Sam.
Yeah, it's going to make him like probably either hesitate or think twice about what is.
I think that's what's going to make him take the shield.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's what's going to make him want to be the symbol,
because he's going to realize that John represents everything that he doesn't believe in anymore. Yeah. So that's an important thing, and I think we're definitely moving in that direction.
And that's what I think
and to the people offended on Twitter, let them just ignore those idiots, because they're, no matter what we do, we're always going to be beneath them. You cannot argue with those people. Just let them die over to the side and move on.
Right. Is Disney determined to release
die eventually?
Anyway,
go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. She's being brought back in the film. Do you think it wouldn't matter? Wait, is Disney determined to release Black Widow in a set time because she's being brought back in the film? You think it was matter when it's released? Well, I think the problem is there's going to be a character, at least one, maybe two characters in that movie that needs to be. They need it to come out before the next thing that's going to like. I think that Yelena, who is going to be playing the new Black Widow, she's going to show up very shortly after she's introduced in this movie. So this movie has to come out before something else happens.
Yeah. Otherwise,
didn't they delay this again?
What?
Black Widow? Was it supposed to come out like? No, I must have read something wrong.
It might be.
No, it's July. It's coming out in July is when it's going to get released. But they need it to come out before something else. That's the thing. They need to come out before something else. So I think that's what it is. We don't know the exact time, but we know that clearly it will affect other. It's like a domino effect. We've talked about this with Marvel before. The biggest detriment to Marvel, which was its benefit before, is its connectivity. Because every time one thing gets delayed, something else gets delayed, and it's just this domino effect. So all right, so let's get back to the show here and talk a little bit about the John Walker situation. Now, John goes to get Bucky out of jail, and he basically rolls up in there, and they're like, on whose authority? And he's like, my authority.
Oh, I'm Captain America.
I get the impression with John's character that the government is parading him around similar to how they wanted to do to Captain America in the first Captain America movie.
Yeah, they wanted to make him a symbol.
He's a prop for the government. So that's why his hands are tied in ways that, that Sam and Bucky's are not, because he is the figurehead for the government. He can't just go out and do whatever he wants. Like Captain America, when he was on the run, he didn't care what the government thought about him. I'm Captain America. I'm going to do what I think is right. Whereas this guy is literally a product of the government. He is a prop for the government. He's a banner for the government to put out there. So everything he is doing that seems like his power, really, it's the government that is giving him access to all these things. And I do believe in some ways they probably want him to keep tabs on Sam and Bucky because they tracked Red Wing. That's how they tracked Red Wing, and that's how they were able to, which, by the way, now that Red Wing is gone.
He's gone. Yeah, he's going to need someone to make him a new one and probably not have that back door in there.
Yeah. So, but I think they were planting the seeds of this government corruption with Sam all through the episode. Because when they talked about Red Wing being hacked, and I just thought about this, that in connection with the Isaiah stuff, he's probably not a big fan of the government right now. He's probably like, what is going on?
He's probably, Captain, the original Cap was right the whole time. Yeah, they can't be trusted.
Yeah. So Laura here says there's a rumor the Black Widow characters in the. I would not say that that's out of reach, because with it being a show about grounded characters and Yelena being a Black Widow, it would make a lot of sense for them to be to be there. So we get them out and they have this conversation outside. Well, first, by the way, I do want to talk about the therapy session. That was hilarious.
Yeah, absolutely. Their
Therapy
banter is
hilarious.
amazing. I love it.
I don't think it really added much to the episode in terms of like progress, but it was funny and it did show that they just, again, like buddy cop stuff. Like it's always, it's like you think all the classic buddy cop movies and TV shows, there's always some sort of like wedge in between the two main characters. And so the point is to start out here and then to reach a point together where they feel like they've done something together. So we got a couple more episodes before that happens, but they have that banter, which is really good. But then they go outside and obviously Battlestar and John are out there. And John is like, wants them to work with him. They're like, look, we're not tied to the government like you are. We can do whatever we want. And I think that was Sam with his first foot out of the pool.
Yep.
Like, he's like, I'm stepping out of the pool now and we're going to do our own thing. And we're not tied up by the government. So we can do stuff that you can't do. And I think he also knows now Red Wing is gone, which means they can't track him anymore. So
can't really track him.
Right. So all that's going on. And so Bucky starts to have words with John. I thought they were going to throw hands, and then Sam steps in and he's like, wait, hold on. But this is where John goes, okay, that's fine, but don't get in our way.
Yeah, just don't get in my fucking way. I'm like, boy.
I thought for a second, I'm like, did you just say that to two superheroes? Like, I mean, you're Captain America in a suit, but
two people who fought Thanos.
Literally one of them is a super soldier.
Yeah.
This is why I believe that John, because at the beginning of the episode, he said, I don't have super strength. And it was a weird thing to put in there, right? I think, again, that he's either going to get super soldier serum or he's already taking something, because you would not say something like that to Bucky.
Yeah. Or he just, I mean, if the show wants to, if something happens to his partner, he might actually join the power broker program.
Exactly. I think he might seek them out because he's going to feel like a deficit. He's going to feel like, you know, it's like when you see like these advertisements or things where it shows people who are walking past people in the gym and they're jealous of these people with like these muscles and everything. He's going to want to be Captain America. And you can't truly be Captain America until you have some sort of powers. So I do believe he's going to seek that out. And he actually said, he had a line in the episode where he talked about like making good people better, making bad people worse or whatever. I think the reality is that John on the outside has this facade of being this good guy, but he's got anger management issues because Battlestar at the beginning tells him you can't just punch your way out of this. So I think all the little seeds are being planted for him to flip. And I think that's what's going to happen.
Just be happy he doesn't have eye lasers.
Yeah, exactly. But the other thing is, in the comics, John Walker's story has been very interesting. And I actually did a little bit of reading, and it's kind of complicated. Like, it is a complicated backstory. He's kind of redeemed himself a little bit now in the comics, and he's not really going around as U.S. agent or Captain America or whatever. But for a period of time, he was like the West Coast Avengers Captain America as U.S. agent. And so he had to redeem himself as that character. And he is known for not necessarily being a bad Captain America, but doing things that Captain America wouldn't do. Like, he doesn't mind killing people. He doesn't have like a moral compass like Captain America typically has. And so it makes him this like Captain America that's unpredictable in a way that the normal Captain America isn't. So I think that's the thing from the comics they're going to pull the most from, is that he may on paper read as a military guy that could do Captain America, but in reality, he's going to cross lines that he probably should not cross. And it's going to be whether or not the military is going to back him up on that. Are they going to be like, yeah, we love this. We love this guy going out and you know, doing all these crazy things. Or are they going to be like, we made a mistake. We're not affiliated with this Captain America. Like, how is this going to work out? And how is it going to play into the rest of the series? What do you guys think is going to happen with John? Do you think that's a logical place for him to go? Or what do you think we're thinking about here?
I don't know. I think something's maybe nothing happens to Battlestar, but something has to push him over. And I think it's going to be the fact that he either can't keep up with the Flag Smashers or Winter Soldier, or because he was unable to, something unfortunate happens. And I think that's going to drive him to take a serum or a pill or whatever it is. And then it could cause him to go angry, or have worse anger issues.
But remember, he's got a girlfriend, I think, or a wife, and if something happens to her, that could also set him off as well.
That too. I was about to say, it's probably something where he either, How can I put this? It's probably something that either Bucky and Sam does so much better than he does, and he gets jealous, or it's something he screws up so catastrophically, and it just pushes him over the edge. It's just like, I know I have to be better than them. I have to do more, and something just snaps.
Yeah, and I think he'll become U.S. agent, and then everybody will be okay with that.
He'll be Homelander.
So let me ask this question before we talk about the Zemo stuff. Do you think that? Because I think it's pretty clear to me that the title of Captain America will either go to Bucky or Sam by the end of the series. I'm leaning more into the Sam camp.
I think it'll be Sam.
Yeah, probably. I think it's probably Sam.
And I think Bucky will still work with Sam, but Sam will be Captain America. That's what I think.
I don't think Bucky be mad about it because Steve chose him to begin with, so he'll probably be fine with it.
Yeah. There is a period in time where Bucky was Captain America in the comics, but Sam is also Captain America in the comics. So that's what I'm saying. You could flip a coin.
It could be either one.
But I think Sam,
either one I'd be fine with.
To me, because Joaquin Torres is introduced, I feel like he's going to be the next Falcon.
He takes over Falcon. Yeah,
because who wants to take over the Winter Soldier? I mean, you don't want to be known as that.
Yeah, you don't want to be known as
a
bad. He was a bad guy. The Winter Soldier
was cool.
He's the White Wolf. Get it right.
Yeah.
What did Bucky call him? The White Panther? He's like, no, it's
you spend a few years in Wakanda, come back as White Panther, White Wolf, actually.
Okay, so do you think John will continue? Like, do you think he'll be a character that will move on past the series? Or do you think we're going to wrap up his story in this one series?
No, I hope so. I hope he comes back. I want U.S. agent. I don't want, like, I know that I had said it before when we had talked about the Snyder Cut. I want, bad guys to be put down, but ones that with like Zemo and U.S. agent was just a different form, kind of like Punisher, misunderstood.
Yeah. Do you think this is going to lead to a government sanctioned Avengers? Like, do you think he's going to end up leading a version of the Avengers? Because
if they did that, though, wouldn't War Machine have to be on that?
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like,
I don't think Rhodey would be probably too jazzed about that. Well, maybe he would be.
Because you got to think about it. The government has not been happy with the way heroes have been doing things for a while. Ever since the Sokovia Accords, they've been kind of off the rails about it. But think about it. If they could inject super soldier serum into anybody and give them powers, they could create an Avengers, not necessarily call him the Avengers. They could.
No, they would call
them
else,
but they could call him something else, and they could just put, U.S. agent as lead of this team or whatever. So I think it might go on. I think it'll be interesting. Maddie with a 199 pound super chat. Isaiah gets killed by Zemo, sets of Patriot origin. Maybe. I think it's possible. I think Patriot is a character. I think they're planting the seeds for a lot of stuff. I actually think this show, in my opinion, is planting more seeds than WandaVision did early on.
Because they're more practical, because you can see them and it's not theories based off of red herrings from comic books of 30, 40 years ago.
All right, so let's talk. Last thing we're going to talk about before we wrap this up. Zemo is coming back. Now, Gwendolyn had a comment about this earlier when she super chatted us and our thoughts on Zemo. So we're going to talk about it right now. This is a man who did what no other villain has done. He literally broke up the Avengers.
He won.
He literally accomplished what he went after. Now, whether or not it was a long-term success, his short-term plans actually worked. He broke up the Avengers. He is the one that caused Tony Stark and Iron Man and Winter Soldier to all fight each other. Like that, it was all manipulated by him. Captain America, Tony Stark, Iron Man, Captain America.
I was just letting him go.
Iron Man. Iron Man here, Captain America, and Winter Soldier. He had them fighting during Civil War. And a lot of people complain because he wasn't comic book accurate in that movie, but he's getting the mask in this series. We already know that. And he's coming back. He's going to play a big role in this. Do you think, because I don't know if he's going to pick a side. I feel like Zemo is on his own side. Yeah. But do you think he may try to resurrect Hydra? Because I think he's going to get, obviously he's going to get out.
Well, like it's weird though, because he knows all of Hydra's secrets, but he wasn't actually Hydra.
No, he had Hydra ideals though. Like he
of course. I mean,
he was Hydra adjacent.
Yeah.
So it would be,
but in the comics, he is connected to Hydra. I'm wondering if they could actually set him up as this new Hydra character. Of Hydra. That's a good question.
I think that he is probably the biggest question mark out of all of this. And I think that's what makes it exciting, because he's the one you don't know what he's going to do. Okay. I think he's in it for himself.
Do you think he's going to take super soldier serum?
No.
No, I don't think so.
He's more up here. He's not a fighter.
Right. Okay.
At least in the MCU.
Yeah.
Theory crafting time. Are we ready for some theory crafting? I do have one thing I want to talk about. And it leans into the Bucky Winter Soldier thing. We know that Zemo gets out of Supermax somehow. He gets out. Does he coerce Bucky by using a trick to break out?
I don't want him to, but I hope so. I hope he tricks the Winter Soldier, and I hope that by the end, the only person who can bring him back is Sam.
Okay.
And then that will be one of the main reasons why the Winter Soldier is like, you know what? I can't be Cap. I'm too easily compromised, kind of thing. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay. Also, the thing with we talked about the scene about Sam throwing the shield around. There's a rumor that's the end of the series. That's like the last scene of the series where he gets the shield and he's training him to be Captain America. That's someone was saying that's they get the shield. They're at the end. He's training him, and then we'll see him
when he throws the shield in the trees or whatever. I'm fine
and then it comes
that.
back to him. Yeah. Fade to black. Fade to black. He's Captain America. Screen swipe. Go into the credits. So anyway,
I'm okay with that.
So in the chat, guys, we have 140 some people in here. I want to see scores. What did you think of this episode from 1 to 10? And I want to know what you guys think. Now, my review is already out. I had a very favorable opinion of this episode.
Yeah, someone just brought us on. Didn't Shuri deal with the brainwashing thing?
She helped him with it. I don't think they're able to totally take it away though.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they never explained. Because he said at the end of Civil War, he was going under and he wasn't going to come out until they figured a way to fix him. And then you see him in Infinity War. Clearly, they let him out. So you would assume that he's fixed. They gave him the arm because they needed him. Like they needed another person on the field. So I hope he's not. I want him to be the Winter Soldier. That's what I want.
So what did you think score-wise, guys? What would you give it? Because I was on my review, but I'll say I was very favorable.
I give this a solid 7.5. I thought it was good.
Okay.
I mean that's pretty low for you.
I had a few nitpicks here and
there. That is pretty low. Well, how about this? Before we wrap it up, what are your nitpicks that we didn't talk about? If there's something
most of the nitpicks we already talked about, like how with the one fight, some of the fight scenes that was going on in the beginning and everything. I mean, it leads up to a lot of things. I'm just kind of like waiting to see how everything plays out. Like, I don't know if I watch it again, I'll probably give it a different score, but just my initial first viewing, I was like, yes, it's fine. It's cool.
Okay.
My concerns were all in the fight.
Literally
to me, it was not a Marvel. To me, it wasn't as good as Marvel has done in the past. And I had questions with the whole Winter Soldier arm thing.
This is the Winter Soldier I want back. The one that
just goes in. I loved this episode, and I actually give it an 8. Okay. So I'm actually giving a score higher than Omega, considering last week I gave it a 5. So
I can't wait to see Omega scores when we get to Loki, because he loves magic, so he's going to be like 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10.
I think this episode for me is this to me would be an episode you can't miss. Like the first episode, I gave it
sets up a lot of stuff. That's when the episode. That's why I gave it so low. Was episodes that set up a lot of things. I kind of rate it low, and then the next episode, once everything pays off, I'll probably rate that a lot higher. It's just I'm waiting for stuff to just kick off.
Yeah. First of all, I give it an 8. It's good.
So very pleased with this. I'm loving the direction of the show. Even though the action scenes, as Cyber was saying, they might not have been as amazing as some of the other stuff in the movies. Visually, I think they nailed it. It doesn't look like a TV show to me. It definitely looks and feels like a movie. And a lot of that comes down to the directing of the episode. Because let's be honest here, I don't think there's any movie, in my opinion, and I'm thinking very hard here, I don't think there's been an MCU movie that has nailed fighting for me as well as Winter Soldier did.
Oh, yeah.
Like street level fighting, the kind of fighting you see, like martial arts.
Yeah, 100%. The fight with him and Cap with the knife, that was amazing.
Really good. Every fight they had, I'll say this: the closest one to that is when Winter Soldier gets his ass handed to him by Black Panther in Civil War. I think that's a really good fight too, because Black Panther's he's not pulling any punches with Bucky there. I think Bucky's just like, wait, hold on, what? I need to get the hell out of here because this guy is not playing around.
Give him the hands.
Yeah, but again, that was also Winter Soldier that wasn't completely hydrified. So
ice cream truck going by.
Oh man,
Where's my
I want to dream sickle.
I can't run him down. I can't. Oh,
Zayas here. Showrunner mentions it's someone who's grounded, but they almost lost the rights to. Probably not it, but Luke Cage kind of fits the bill because I don't. So here's the thing about the characters from the Netflix shows. Those characters, with the exception of Iron Fist, are so connected to the city. They're very.
I don't know why he would leave there. Yeah, I don't know why.
Luke Cage loves Harlem. I don't see him leaving, and we still don't even know.
He was the bad guy at the end of.
Daredevil has been.
Man, I wish I would have finished that off.
Daredevil has been known to leave Hell's Kitchen, but he's still very much a city character. Jessica Jones doesn't even want to be a superhero. So
she's like, screw this, I'm done.
Iron Fist is the only character I could see that might go because he's an international type character. So
it's Omega Red. I wish it was Omega Red. I wish.
Dude, if Omega Red showed up, that'd be crazy, right?
That means X-Men.
Yes, there's two streams about the Snyder Cut. There's one that I did with Paige and Ben, and then there's the one I did with Omega and Cyber, which I believe they're both from last week. They're both from last week. So
spoiler, I liked it.
Spoiler, I didn't.
Already. So if you want to hear any more, go check it out. So there we go. That's pretty much it, guys. I think we covered everything. I don't think there's anything I missed from the episode that I wanted to talk about. But yes, very, very excited about where the series is going. We still have 4 episodes left. I like the time length on them. I think it's really good.
Yeah, I do too. Yep.
And I actually looked down like towards the end of the episode. I'm like, we still got time left. Like I felt like they covered so much time in it. So that was pretty exciting. So anything you guys want to shout out before we head out of here? Any updates on you, Cyber, and your situation?
Yeah, so a couple more weeks before I can start walking, which I know, I update when I remember to on Twitter, and sometimes, I haven't done anything on TikTok. But as far as my stream, I have not streamed in like almost a month, guys. It's actually really bad. I need to get back in there. I need to get back. When I sit down here, it's just I can't sit for a long period of time because it's not comfortable. But I think tomorrow I might give it a shot. So if you want to come over there and say hi, twitch.tv/cyberninja, as you see right there. And it's free to follow. So come over there. And the YouTube channel, I'm going to start streaming over there as well. So if you guys want to follow me over at YouTube, Cyber Ninja, I'm going to do some live streams there as well.
Right. Cool. What about you, Omega?
Me, I don't really stream much to begin with. I do have some things in the planning stages, like space. I'm just waiting for the stimulus and my tax return to come in so I can purchase some new equipment. So maybe you won't be seeing my entire room. Maybe I have some CGI budget like these two.
Yeah.
But also, I did post a picture on my DeviantArt account, I think yesterday, but I ended up deleting it today because I just didn't like how the render came out. I may re-render that and fix some things up. But it was of a Leland Ataza. If you're not familiar with that, it's a D&D Pathfinder monster. Well, monster. It's more of an angel type thing. So yeah, I would probably be fixing that up and putting that back up, and I'm still just making some more CGI pictures and stuff.
Cool. Michael Keaton not being in the Flash movie. Yeah, there's some news.
What Flash movie?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, who cares about the Flash?
Apparently, he's concerned about filming restrictions and stuff with COVID, but I don't know.
Wait, is it an Ezra Miller Flash movie?
Yes.
I don't care.
It's not happening.
I don't care. Yeah. I probably won't watch it. I don't care.
Right. All right, guys. Well, that's pretty much it. I'm going to jump out of here. You know all my stuff, my Twitter, all that. I'm having fun on TikTok. Surprisingly, I don't even know what I'm doing on there.
TikTok's amazing.
TikTok is it is a rabbit hole. I literally did not realize you just start scrolling through it and it's crazy.
Dude, I was watching
4 hours will go by.
I just watched a bunch of Gordon Ramsay and freaking Attorney Tom stuff.
Being an old person on TikTok is not good for your health. Like, it really is not. So anyway, we're out of here. We will see you guys next week. Same time, same place. We'll be talking about the 3rd episode of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
The difference between wizards that they do magic by book learning. Sorcerers just cast magic innately. That's what D&D says.
All right.
Bye.